Hello, Dr. Jennifer Martay here, and we're going to talk today about the top 5 activities recommended for primary school children. That's between the ages of 6 and 11. We're going to have City of Zombies / Outnumbered. They're very, very similar, from the same group. We're going to have Codemaster, which is a programming logic game. We're going to be talking about the digital microscope. And we're also going to be talking about Scratch and Skymap. This is Outnumbered. In this game, you're superheroes. So here's some of them. We have multiple that doubles a value. We have minus, where you subtract 1 or 2. There's also big plus, where you add 1. And these superheroes are trying to stop these villains. The villains start at the top of the board and they're trying to come down and break these barricades to get into our lab. And we're trying to defeat them before they get there. So in this game, we roll the dice, and then if we match the number of a villain, then we defeat them. So in the easiest way, you could roll a 3 to defeat the 3. Or you could roll a 5 to defeat the 5. And that's what you can do with younger kids, and you can leave the bigger numbers out. But for older kids, you can also get into other operations, like you could do 3 squared and defeat the 9 if you wanted. Or since these villains are coming from here down into our lab, this is the one that's going to cause us trouble first, this 20. But you could take the 5 and the 4, multiply them together to get 20 and defeat that villain. And there are also some extra powers, so you can get, defeat an even number, defeat someone in the same row, defeat a prime number, defeat anything divisible by 3. So there's quite a lot of math which has been packed into this game in quite a fun way. And this is City of Zombies, a very similar game made by the same group, Genius Games. We've got various zombies that start up here and they're moving down closer and closer to our farm, and we are trying to defeat the villains and escape on our plane before they get here. So here's some of the heroes. This game has a bit more strategy involved, so there are extra cards like exploding barrels of toxic things and letting people re-roll second chances. So you each get your own hero power you can use once per game. And then here are some of the cards, and here's one of those special ones. So in that round, each hero could re-roll 1 of their dice if they wanted to. And the same idea applies. We've got 3 dice, we roll them, and then we defeat characters based off of this. So for example, I could take this 10 is going to get to us soon, so I could say 6 plus 4 is 10 and defeat that one. And then for this 2, I could defeat that 2 if I wanted, or in fact I could re-roll it. Now I've got a 4 and I can't do much with a 4, so I've now lost this one. I can't use that one for the turn. So this game is very similar. I prefer Outnumbered a bit, for one, because the board is smaller, the box is smaller, the cards are smaller, but I also like the artwork in the other game a little bit better than this one. Although both games are good, so if you find this one, maybe at your local charity shop, I highly recommend this one. This is Codemaster, a programming logic game. Here are all the pieces that you'll need to use, and this will help your children understand more about programming. So we've got 60 different levels. They're all printed on the sides of these different maps. Each map is slightly different. And the idea is they tell you where to start and where to finish, anything you have to pick up along the way, and the colors of the lines that you can use. And then you put them in order in this the scroll. So for example, on this one, if we were doing level 11, we need 2 reds, 1 green, and a blue. So I've got now 2 reds, 1 green, and a blue, and then there's 1 jewel as well. And this jewel, it says, needs to go on number 1. So we put the jewel on number 1. We put the person, the starting person, on number 2. And we put the end portal on number 4. And then we have to figure out how to get from here to there in exactly 4 steps. We can't have fewer, and we definitely can't have more. And we need to collect this jewel along the way. So we might decide we wanted to start with green first. So we could move our person along the green line, and then we could have red, and then we pick up the blue jewel, and then we could go blue again, and move over there, and then red. Okay, so that would be a perfectly logical programming sequence, but would end us at the wrong space. So we would now need to take these off, reset the board, and try again. And these go from very, very simple to very, very complex. There are other pieces where you can have loops, for example, or various things that you meet along the way. So this game is a lot of fun, not just for children, but also for adults. And in case you're in suspense about what the answer is, here's the answer. So first we go on the green one over to here. Then we do red to go here and pick up the jewel, put it on our staff. We do red to go back to where we were before, and then we do blue to make it to the end. Next we have the digital microscope. This is incredibly portable. It plugs straight into your computer or your phone, and when you go into camera and you click the button that means rotate your picture around, instead of seeing through the webcam, it shows you what is under the microscope. And I've got a variety of different things that we're going to look at here today. So first up, we have pieces of money. So you could have coins. And we can see there, we've got a really good picture of what the coin looks like. There's a thing we can turn to focus here. So I've put it in focus. We can look at the edge of a coin. We can look at the writing on the edge really clearly. We can look at the different colors, various imperfections. People use this to look at jewelry as well. And that's just looking at that coin there. This is some dog fur. We've got a black dog. So you could look at fur. You can zoom in to see the different fibers. Right now it's wanting to look at the table on the background. There we go. So there's the dog fur and a nice detailed version. You could use it to look at what happens when you've got printed materials. So here's one of my kids' books they're reading at the moment. And you can see that it's a variety of different colors. So not just pink, but there's a little bit of yellow and blue in there as well. It's also quite interesting to look at fabrics. So here's a t-shirt. We can see how the t-shirt has been made. You can see the different fabrics, how they're woven together, how the different colors are done. And you can also save these pictures by clicking on the screen, or in fact you can save videos. And I've saved the best for last. A plant we have in our kitchen, and the aphids have been eating it. So you can see the skin left over from these aphids. Oh, there's a live one. That's a good one. So you can see him eating the plant. These USB microscopes only cost about £19, £18, sometimes even cheaper on Amazon or eBay. So they're actually really, really cheap to get, with really good quality of what you can look at later. I mean, did you really think you'd be able to see the aphid eating the individual pieces of the leaf? So this is something which has been such an incredible buy. Scratch is another STEM activity that's great for 6 to 11-year-olds. It teaches kids about programming without worrying about syntax. So there's different options here, and you drag and drop them into this screen, and then you can create whatever it is that you want. So in this case, my kids asked to have 2 bats, and they fly around and you're feeding them, and they talk to you as you're feeding them. So if we look, here's what happens when the first sprite or character is clicked. It cycles the bat through these different positions, which makes it look like it's flying, and it moves to another location. Same thing here, except this is bat 2 instead of bat 1, and this is what's happening with the rest of the code. So when I click this green flag, it will play a sound, reset all the scores to 0, and it will wait to see when the bats have been clicked. And when the bats have been clicked, it takes the score up by 1, and various things happen when the score reaches different numbers. So I'll go ahead and show you.
Click the bats to feed them. Bats are hungry!
So my kids have recorded the instructions. They've just told us to click the bats to feed them. So if we click the bat, he flies to a new location. And then we click the other one. It flies to its own location. And we see the score has gone up by 1. So let's do it again.
That's one more.
So when the score goes to 2, my kids have recorded bats want more to tell you to keep feeding the bats. So let's just keep feeding them a little bit more. Now we've gone to 3. Now we've gone to 4. And at 5,
Bats are full!
At 5, the game is over. The bats are full, and that's it for this Scratch program. Now, that is a fairly basic game, but my kids really enjoyed doing this. They came up with what they were going to say, the concept behind the game. They picked out the bats. They picked out the background. They didn't do the drag and drop themselves because they can't read all of these words yet. But they sat with me and told me what to do, and I showed them where the different things were. So they were really excited to make this game. Now, if you're interested in Scratch, there are various free resources around as well. So this is from Potato Pirates that makes board games for kids to learn about programming. And in addition to their board games, which you can check out over here, they also have free resources. So Potato Pirates Academy, if we scroll down, you see they've got things for beginners, intermediate, various things for teaching. So Scratch, if you go to the beginner and you view all the products, you can see Scratch is here, the fundamentals of Scratch programming, and you can download it for free. So here is Potato Pirates Scratch Learning Resource. It's 134 pages. It includes 4 different activities to teach your kids about the basics of Scratch. It starts by explaining everything on the screen, and then there are different activities where, in the first one, which is called Mutiny, they've used the characters from their board games on the Caribbean Sea, which is quite fun that it integrates in with their game. We've got the Potato King, and the Potato King is trying to get logs. So you can download their sprites, their characters, and then you can set it up yourself so that you get the Potato King to go and get the pieces of wood. And this explains how to do that, all the different keys that you need. It explains the origins and positive and negative numbers. And at the end of this example, it even has kind of like a worksheet to see how well you've understood the section. And I thought this was really, really good. So not only is it a fun way to learn about how to do Scratch, it is integrated in with their board game. So if you have their board game, this also gets kids into it. It had those questions at the end and then the answers. So quick check to see how you've understood it. Sometimes one of the hardest things to do with Scratch is to figure out what it is you want to work on. And so if you're struggling to think about different examples you can use with your kids, I would suggest having a look at BBC Teach. They've got a collection of examples called Cracking the Code on this website, which I'll put down in the comments. And these give you different ideas of what you could use Scratch for. So we were just doing programming a computer game. This is the one that my kids were looking at when we made that bats game. But we've also done this with my kids, creating a simple automated driving simulator. And they really enjoyed this as well. So there's different examples you can use to get your kids into using Scratch. This is Skymap. It's a free app that you can download from Google Play if you've got an Android, and iPhones have their own version. And all you have to do is point it at the sky, or in fact the ground, point it anywhere you want, and it will show you what the different stars and planets are around you. And this is really, really interesting for anyone who is interested in space. So for example, right now we can see where Mercury is, we can see where Mars is, we can see where the sun is, we can see all different kinds of other things, and it's actually drawn in the constellations. So if you go outside at night with your kids, you can point out to them exactly where the planets are and these different constellations, and you don't have to guess what they're called anymore. This is a really good free app I would definitely recommend. That wraps up our top 5 STEM activities for primary school children. Please see the website for more information. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.